Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar, The Future of Work, Trends in the Modern Workplace. My name is Erica Best, and I'm going to be your moderator for the next 45 minutes here. And today I will be joined by BlueJeans' Manager of Sales Engineering in North America, Joe Mann. And in today's webinar, Joe will actually be talking about how companies with remote employees are staying connected and competitive, as well as he's going to be giving some examples of how organizations are putting a greater emphasis on employee collaboration and experience. And lastly, he'll go over some new applications and integrated workflows that will support the future of work. But before I bring him in, I'm just going to go over a couple of housekeeping items with you. Today, we are joined over our BlueJeans events product, so all attendees are in a one-way viewing experience. If you have any technical issues throughout the webinar, feel free to post them in the moderator chat feature, and I'll make sure to assist you. However, if you have any questions regarding Joe's presentation, please feel free to post those in the Q&A chat feature, which you can also find in the right-hand nav, and I'll make sure to read those out to Joe during Q&A. Today's webinar will be recorded, posted on our website, as well as emailed to you after the event as well. So without further ado, I'd love to pass it over to Joe.
Great, thank you, Erica, and hello to everyone out there attending today. Appreciate you taking the time to learn a little bit more, as Erica was mentioning, about the future of work here. So let's get started. Looking at the future of work, there's a lot that's changing in the modern workplace. There's different looking office spaces. Employees are located in different areas, so it's really an exciting time of change all across the industry, and technology plays a big part of that. So organizations today, they're in a race to drive productivity. Really, they want to stay competitive. They want to stay on top of being able to be able to get the most out of every single employee they have, and have those employees be happy with their work. You hear about digital transformation quite a bit these days. That is the adoption of new digital technologies to really enhance the workplace and the workflow experience. The modern workforce is also changing. Where those people are located, how they work together has changed significantly in recent years. IT teams now are faced with new challenges around additional technologies they have to manage, consolidating those technologies where they can, and helping reduce shadow IT to maintain high levels of security. Putting that all together, new technologies are coming out all the time, and people want to continuously evaluate these technologies in order to understand if they can help their business be more productive, work better, be more competitive also in their industries. Looking at the top workplace trends, I'm going to focus on 4 different areas today. The first is flexibility of the workforce, how you can augment your workforce easily and be flexible on a project basis. Mobility of the workforce, so the ability for workers to be productive, whether they are in an office or on the road or working remotely. How those different teams can work together, how teamwork is leveraged with existing technologies and new technologies today. And lastly, how intelligence plays a part of that to bring the other 3 together in an easy way that is set up for future enhancements. So starting with flexibility here. Looking at some independent studies that were done recently, starting with Accenture here, 22% of the US workforce are comprised of contingent employees. So that's a significant chunk that are just working on a project basis. These are contractors, or the gig economy is a term that you hear quite a bit. And 85% of executives are planning to increase the usage of freelance workers here in the future. So that flexibility to scale up and scale down when you need to as an organization is certainly very important here. Looking at legacy organizations, these large enterprises that are out there today, the hierarchies that have existed previously, they're becoming obsolete and are viewed as inefficient. So they need to restructure in order to be nimble, even if you're a 5 or 10 or 20,000 person company or larger. The on-demand freelance workforce allows you to accomplish specific business goals. So as I mentioned, that scale up and scale down when you need to. And these ad hoc work groups, they're supporting distributed teams, people located in different parts of the world, all working together to accomplish these project goals. So moving on to mobility here, this is the ability to be productive wherever you are, whether you're inside an office, at a home office, or on the road. IDC did a recent analysis, discovered that 72% of the US workforce will be mobile in 2020. I don't believe that term surprises anyone with the number of people that are reliant upon their mobile devices that we all have in our pockets every day, checking them constantly, whether that's for work or personal other reasons. We are a constantly connected world. Also, 10% forecasted growth between 2015 and 2020 as far as that mobile workforce. So it continues to grow. We would continue to move towards a mobile society for our ability to get work done. Companies are adopting a BYOD program, so bring your own device that you have, whether that's your phone, or your tablet, or other devices, and just load your work applications on there and make it work with what you have and what you bring in to your office environment. With that comes a new challenge of balancing work and life between these employees. There's a blurred line that where it used to be pretty clear. You shut off your computer at the end of the day, you go home. Now, people being connected, and especially with BYOD policies, it's tougher to manage that work-life balance. So new challenges arise there. It's also important to enable productivity both inside and outside the workplace. So as I mentioned, the workplace is really wherever you are, not necessarily an office anymore. So you need to be able to be productive, whether you're on your laptop or on your mobile device or on your tablet, to be able to maximize the amount of productivity you can get wherever you might be. Going on to teamwork here, and teamwork is certainly important and always has been important in the workplace, but it's different now when you have distributed workforces. You need to leverage different methods and different technologies in order to maintain a tight-knit team, even if you're working with people across the globe. Deloitte did a recent survey and discovered that 88% of companies are trying to be organized in a flatter fashion. So the hierarchies, as I had mentioned in my previous slide, those are viewed now as a little bit outdated, obsolete. So a flatter organization is a more nimble organization that can be productive and get work done faster. And also 91% of employees are working outside of their functional area. And that means that the lines are blurred between departments. No longer are there silos of, this is my responsibility, this is what I am here to do, and that's it. There's a lot of cross-functional communication and teamwork between different organizations within a company to really mesh that collaborative team spirit together and make teams be more efficient with how they get work done. Workers have a number of different ways to communicate these days, both personally and professionally. You've got email, which has been around for a little while, but the rise of the chat applications is around, with Slack, HipChat, and others. Even with Microsoft now moving to Teams, there's an emphasis on asynchronous communication, real-time messaging, and also text messaging, social media. There are who knows how many different ways to communicate. I bet if everyone grabbed their phone right now, they could find at least 5 different applications that they could use to communicate with other people. So it's a lot to manage for IT organizations internally within a company. These organizations, they're adapting practices, workspaces, and leadership styles to ensure the workers and technology align with organizational benefits. So there's a need to be adaptive to the modern workforce. The millennials and Gen Z that are coming up and entering the workforce now, or establishing themselves as leaders in the workforce, they operate much differently than previous generations. So companies need to be able to adapt and understand how those people communicate, what types of tools they use to communicate. Moving over a little bit into the employee experience side and the focus there, 80% of executives rated employee experience very important or important. There's more focus than maybe there's ever been on the employee satisfaction and employee experience for companies. Happy employees make productive workers, make successful companies. So the employee experience is very important to organizations as far as the level of productivity they can get out of their workforce. Only 22% of companies, though, right now are excellent at building a differentiated employee experience. So there's still work to be done there, still challenges ahead at what exactly building a happy and productive workforce looks like. So these companies, though, in general, they're seeing these productivity gains, because of these new adapted changes for the workforce. The employees are invigorated, they're challenged in a positive way, and they are, enjoying their work more than they had previously. There's a significant focus on human-centered workplaces. As I mentioned, just focusing on what is the experience for the employee every day, where they work, what it looks like, how they can collaborate with others, what types of technologies they're using. It's all an area of focus right now. And in general, the employees are driving more decisions about the tools and workspaces that are being used more than they ever have before. Previously, you might have seen an IT organization make decisions about what technologies are being used in a little bit of a vacuum. But today, the end users a lot are driving the decisions. They're going out themselves and finding new technology and then coming to IT and say, I want this. Buy this for me, give it to everyone. We need this because of these reasons. So it's the employee experience overall needs to be taken into account and really understood to get the full value out of each individual worker. So looking at how intelligence plays a part of that, and it really affects all the other key trends that I mentioned previously. And intelligence is something that has been around in many different fashions in technology previously, but is becoming a larger contributor and a much more significant and crucial part of how we leverage technology here moving forward. So 75% of executives believe artificial intelligence will expand new business opportunities. AI is something that is a hot topic for any type of technology out there, and is certainly something that will need to be leveraged for competitive advantage. In fact, 85% of executives believe that AI will help their company obtain and sustain a competitive edge. So it's not just about the workforce itself. It's all about the technologies you can leverage to keep yourself competitive within the marketplace, as the pace of change is much quicker than it used to be. So nobody doubts that AI is here. It's being talked about quite a bit, but the effect of AI within technology remains to be seen. There's still early development being done in a lot of different types of applications that leverage AI, but what exactly we're going to be able to do with AI, still remains to be seen in a way. So it's an exciting time, in technology, where we have new ways to leverage AI to be able to do things on our behalf that we used to have to do manually, whether that's voice commands to launch into a meeting, or recording and taking notes and capturing action items, or transcribing meetings. It's all in an effort to have the workers focused on their core responsibilities and the human element of work, while having the technology take care of a lot of the manual work that used to be in place previously. So in general, the meeting solutions that your company leverages, they need to support people how and where they work in the modern workplace, whether that's in an office, or it is in a remote office, it's in a coffee shop. I'm sitting in my hotel room right now in Philadelphia, hosting this webinar with Erica here. So I need to be able to leverage our technology to meet wherever I am, and not have to go somewhere to specifically participate here in this webinar today. And it also includes workers out in the field. We have a number of customers that leverage mobile devices for helping people see things remotely they couldn't see otherwise, or would be cumbersome to send an email with a picture, a text message, etc. It's hard to replace real-time video for some of those situations. So our focus here at BlueJeans is all about improving meeting productivity, and we do that in a few different ways. One is to be simple, and that's focused on the end users. We want them to be able to get into their meetings easily and participate and collaborate and have the tools they need and the features they need to be able to have effective teamwork across different organizations and different geographic regions, but also not overload them with too many buttons, too many features to make it more difficult to use. So it's a balance there, and simplicity is something that's very important for us in how we design our products. We also need to be modern in the way that we integrate with other applications across an enterprise. We focus on video and the meetings experience here at BlueJeans, and we integrate seamlessly across different email, calendaring, instant messaging, and even AI and digital whiteboarding applications as well. So it really is a focus of ours to not only be interoperable with our service as far as different types of endpoints that can join, but also how that integrates before and after a meeting to just make that seamless experience extend across different applications, different use cases, just to make it, again, easy to use. For cloud service as well, we need to be trusted. This is important for IT organizations that are perhaps moving from on-premise infrastructure historically into the cloud. We need to be secure, and we need to maintain a level of trust that we're going to have high availability with our service. We have annual audits that we undergo to make sure that our service and our organization in general is secure. We enable encryption on all of our endpoints that connect to the service, and just recently completed our GDPR certification at the end of May. So big focus on security and compliance on our side to ensure that organizations can find peace of mind and know that we are protecting their data, and also offering up a service that is going to be available whenever and wherever they need it. So looking across our product lines that we have, we'll start with BlueJeans Meetings here. This is your day-to-day meetings tool for department meetings. It could be cross-functional meetings with different organizations. It could be an agile Scrum meeting. We have HD video, clear audio with our partnership with Dolby. Screen sharing, everything you need to have an effective meeting, and also the option for zero download. We support WebRTC and have embraced it across the board with all browsers that support WebRTC. So there's no requirement for any people joining your meeting, whether they are a first-time user of BlueJeans or a multi-time user. They will not be required to download an app if they don't want to or don't have the permissions to. BlueJeans Rooms is our software-based conference room solution that leverages our relationship with Dolby on the hardware side, where we incorporate the Dolby conference phone into the BlueJeans Room solution. We've seen quite a rise in the use of the software codec in conference rooms that allows you to use existing hardware that you have that's just a Windows machine with an application running on it. They're lower cost, they're more flexible, and typically easier to manage in a lot of ways than some other devices out there. So with BlueJeans Rooms, you can have a Windows machine, a USB camera, that can be a static camera or a pan tilt zoom camera if you have a larger space, and then the Dolby conference phone to have a video-enabled conference room experience at a low cost. The Dolby conference room provides, Dolby conference phone, I should say, provides 3 different uses in one device, and can actually clear up a lot of the clutter you might have on that conference room table today, allowing you to join BlueJeans meetings with the built-in UI that runs the BlueJeans Rooms interface. It also registers to your internal PBX system for phone calls. And we have wireless screen sharing as well with BlueJeans Rooms, eliminating the need to plug in a physical cable to your laptop and share wirelessly. So we've had a number of customers that have taken multiple devices in a conference room and put them all to the side and put one single device on the table for a simple, easy user experience with superior audio with both the Dolby hardware and software incorporated into it. Lastly is BlueJeans Events in our core product line, which we are leveraging today as a part of this webinar. And this is all about your larger scale or more tightly controlled events. This is something that could be a company all hands, with thousands of people. It could be a department training. It could be new employee onboarding. Really anything where you need either a higher capacity or an enhanced level of control to be able to moderate and have participants join in a view and listen only mode, but with the ability to interact via the Q&A or chat, or even actually get promoted live on video to be able to interact and ask questions in real time. Bringing it all together on the back end is BlueJeans Command Center, and that is our analytics tool that is incorporated to all of our services and products to allow visibility for any admin or enterprise participant to view call statistics, usage details, understand feedback scores, geographic distribution of endpoints that are joining your meetings, and also create reports that can be presented to key stakeholders or data that can be analyzed externally or imported into third-party applications, giving you the visibility that you need into your BlueJeans deployment, and even have the ability to help you calculate ROI, which is important with any sort of application you're investing into or service. You need to understand what you're getting out of it. So we have an ROI tool that's built into Command Center that allows you to see that in a more tangible way. Let's take a look now at some of the customers that we have here with BlueJeans and how they've leveraged our products to meet their business goals. Starting off here, we have Intuit, which technology company that quite a few of us, I'm sure, use for doing their taxes on an annual basis. They came to us, looking to accelerate their innovation cycles and deliver the best software and customer experience they could, and they wanted to enhance their employee productivity across global teams. So this was a collaborative effort to make sure that not only the engineering teams, but marketing and product and sales, they can all communicate seamlessly across the globe here with the global offices that Intuit has. The solution we presented to them is BlueJeans Meetings, allowing them to have those meetings on a global scale, to collaborate in real time, and have faster innovation cycles to work together in an easier fashion. Around tax season every year, we'll often see Intuit run meetings that last 10 or 12 or 14 hours sometimes, because they have these very critical teams on all the time, making sure that their service stays up for end users to use during tax season. Therefore, we need to make sure that our service stays up and is reliable to them. So we work together very well in that capacity. On the business side, looking at the outcomes that Intuit had after they moved over to BlueJeans, they had improved meeting productivity overall. They host 20,000 meetings per month, so they were able to see tangible increases in productivity across the board. They also calculated a 40% savings in their annual travel costs. With the global offices that Intuit had, the need to travel just to get business done was reduced because they were able to leverage video and BlueJeans meetings to just collaborate across the globe in a much easier way. And their satisfaction level is very high with the employees. We got an 80 plus net promoter score for the employee base there. So a very high level of satisfaction from Intuit. Moving over onto the healthcare side, Seattle Children's came to us looking to provide a solution for people out in out in the field with doing airlifts or in ambulances with patients, to provide real-time analysis of potential injuries and health conditions, and recommended steps for those who are actually there on the scene. They wanted to collaborate internally across different hospital sites in a more productive way, and also extend their educational services to surrounding schools. So working externally with different schools to expose them to what how Seattle Children's Hospital does things, and how they can help build the next generation of the people who are taking care of patients. Their solution was also BlueJeans Meetings that they leveraged, and they focused on the high quality mobile experience that we have, again, for those airlift or ambulance calls that they get, where there's not time to wait until that ambulance or that helicopter gets back to the hospital. They need to know right away how to diagnose and treat a patient, and they use video and BlueJeans in order to do that. On the business side, they were able to facilitate consultations with internal doctors across different hospitals that are part of their network, diagnose and airlift patients, as I mentioned, in real time. So increasing the ability to treat patients and have any sort of injuries, the effect minimalized, and then also offer mental health services to twice the number of patients in remote schools. The need to consultate and provide counseling services is something that's important, and being able to do that on video as opposed to in person opened up more opportunities to reach more people and have a greater impact on those that are suffering from mental health issues. All right, Red Hat, a customer of ours, has been with us for quite a while here. They were a fast-growing company that needed to have a technology that scaled up with them as they were growing. And also they were looking to move from historically on-premise infrastructure they had into the cloud. So BlueJeans came in and offered them exactly what they were looking for with our cloud-based solution that was built entirely from the cloud up, as we like to say, as a cloud-based solution to scale as their growth scaled. And they also were able to unify their video, audio, and web conferencing into a single service. They previously had separate services for video conferencing in the conference rooms, or web conferencing on the desktop, or even audio conferencing just for conference calls on the phone. So we were able to help consolidate that together to simplify their solution and also reduce costs in a significant way. The business outcomes from that, they host 10 million, or consume, I should say, 10 million meeting minutes per month across their 85 global offices. Their centralized management, our centralized management through Command Center made it easy for IT to be able to support and troubleshoot issues when they arose, and it also reduced shadow IT. The solution that we offered, because it was so widely adopted and easy to use, there is less of a demand for the end users to go out and find their own solution, because what IT was presenting was something that the end users valued, appreciated, and found that was easy to use. Okay, this one's one of my favorite ones here with some BlueJeans stories that we have. But Grubhub is also another fast-growing organization, and they were looking to improve both internal and external communications across different sites. They needed to have meetings with the different restaurants and catering companies that they work with, especially with their recent launch of doing business catering services beyond just a consumer delivery service that they have. Their solution is using BlueJeans meetings and actually BlueJeans events in different capacities. So they use BlueJeans meetings for the internal and external meetings they need to host on a daily basis, and they use BlueJeans events for their town halls and all hands meetings that they have on a regular basis across the entire company. Their business outcomes from that were enhancing team collaboration, and also the customer meetings became much more productive and shortened the cycles that they had to go through in order to bring a new customer on board or make any changes or update their databases or their service. The time to completion there was significantly reduced, and they saw a significant growth in annual meeting usage. It's been 188% year over year for them, and they've seen a growth in the rooms and huddle spaces that are used. So when you have a video technology that works, that people want to use, they're going to want to use it more, which has driven growth in their conference room spaces as well. So the one thing I missed there is their virtual wing eating contest that they hosted recently, and that they use BlueJeans events for that. So it's one of those creative ways that people can use video and the ability to reach people in order to build company culture and help people feel more connected across different offices and different regions. So they had their global offices get on and eat some hot wings, and ended up with a virtual wing eating contest they hosted, and now do so on a regular basis. So with that, in conclusion here, the modern workplace, it's changing rapidly. There's different people and policies and technologies in place. So it's necessary to stay on top of the new technologies that are coming out and will continue to come out. And with BlueJeans meetings, you have the ability to leverage our technologies to collaborate across different organizations in different ways, and really have your company be prepared for the future here of the workplace. So with that, I'll bring Erica back in, and let's take a look and see if we have any questions from the audience.
Absolutely. Thank you, Joe. And again, another phenomenal presentation from you.
Thank you.
Yes, as Joe said, we will be opening it up to Q&A at this time. So just a quick reminder, for those of you that have a question, please feel free to post those in the Q&A chat feature, which you can find in the right-hand nav. I'll make sure to read those out to Joe. And if for some odd reason we run out of time and we aren't able to get to your question, not a problem. We'll make sure to email you after this webinar with the answer. And I did see a couple questions come through, Joe, for you. So the first one I see here is from Natalie. In regards to the contingent workforce, how do you see video communications playing a part in that?
Yeah, that's a good one. And, meetings in general, that's something that's going to be very crucial to the contingent workforce, because people will be coming on staff and then off staff on a regular basis. So the ramping time for those people needs to be significantly reduced so that you can have those people come in right away and make an impact, do the work that they were brought in to do, and then be able to move on. So leveraging video communications is crucial to that, because a contingent worker can be located almost anywhere in the world. And if they have access to a computer with a camera and microphone, they can join in BlueJeans meetings. They don't even have to download the app. They can use the browser to join in. So on day one of that contract that they've been brought in to do, they can communicate and be introduced to the team they're going to work with, what they're going to be working on, and get to work right away. So it's certainly crucial to have people not only communicating easily, but doing it on video, which is a much more productive way of communicating and introducing people that may be on a contingent basis.
Great. Quick question here from Jason. He said, did I hear correctly that BlueJeans is cloud-based?
Yes, Jason, you did hear correctly. So we were founded in 2009 and first launched our product in 2011. And from the very start, we were built as a cloud service, hosted, in global data centers. So because of that, our service has been built specifically for scale and for global distribution, just wherever you are. If you have an internet-connected device with a camera and a microphone, as I mentioned, you can join a BlueJeans meeting. So it is a true cloud service that is intended to scale with the needs of your organization.
Fantastic. Another question here. How do you see companies who embrace mobility overcome the challenge of a proper work-life balance?
Yeah, that's a tough one that comes up, and just about all of us, myself included, have dealt with that in different ways. And I would say my personal take on that one is I like to call it a work-life integration, where the standard office hours of 9 to 5 aren't really what they once were. People are working at different hours based on their personal life, if they have things they have to do outside of work, or maybe they support a different time zone with different people, or they just have a varying schedule. So what it's moved towards is not necessarily the number of hours you work, but just the level of productivity, what you produce in those hours you work. So that could mean that one day you might work 10 or 12 hours, but the next day maybe it's 4 hours. Just to be able to integrate your life and what you need to do outside of work with the work you do, to be flexible wherever you are to get work done, so that what is being asked of you, you can deliver and do so in an efficient way.
Great. Question quickly came in from Chad. I'm a Polycom house. Could you discuss how I would join a BlueJeans meeting with a Polycom endpoint?
Yes, yeah, we actually have a partnership with Polycom. We work together with them because they have been in the industry for quite a long time and make fantastic, conference room equipment. So we saw a natural symbiotic relationship between someone who has a depth of experience in the conference room and us, who has built a cloud service behind that. So with Polycom systems and with standards-based systems in general, you can dial into BlueJeans via either our global IP address or a SIP URI that can be, again, dialed from anywhere in the world to connect to the closest data center that you have. That you have, or you have options for integrating one-touch capabilities with BlueJeans Relay, which will be able to pull information from your calendaring service, whether that's Exchange, Office 365, or Google. And so when users schedule a meeting, they can invite the room and they can walk into that room and just touch a button on screen to join their meeting. Also without any additional equipment required. So in Polycom's case, we can emulate the Exchange integration they have to allow users to, again, schedule BlueJeans meetings, invite the room, and walk in and hit join. So it's a seamless experience, and part of our goal as a company to support whatever you have within your environment today. Leveraging that existing investment is a big reason a lot of customers use BlueJeans today, because there is no requirement to rip and replace or to change out anything you currently have. You can just leverage what you have with BlueJeans and then adapt and update as budgets become available or as the technology change is needed.
Great. Another question here from Natalie. She goes, last question. With the abundance of communication methods available to workers today, how do you decide what is necessary and what is redundant?
Oh, that's a good one. And that is one of the primary challenges faced by a lot of IT organizations today, to make sure to provide the tools to the workforce that allow them to be productive and really enhance their experience, but not have so many tools that it becomes cumbersome or redundant with cost to the organization. So I'd probably divide it up in kind of three core technologies that the companies want to look at. One is your meetings platform. How are you hosting and bringing people together for meetings? How do you do your instant message communication? Real-time communication over text, and then what do you use for email as well? So that the email and instant message, people go back and forth quite a bit of what is actually going to be the most effective way to communicate. A lot of people see email as something of an older technology that isn't as needed anymore, which has helped the rise of instant messaging, which I certainly agree with to a certain degree. There's a number of situations where an instant message will get you a faster response time and not clog your inbox in order to make those important emails actually easier to reach. So if you look across the different technologies you have and kind of the different silos of communication, if you can find a single platform or service to meet those individual needs that integrate well together, that's the ideal end result there, to make sure that you have the opportunity to bring in best of breed applications and technologies for the different communication needs that you have, and then also have them work together seamlessly to be able to schedule a meeting or launch into a meeting in an ad hoc situation from instant message, or send and share files, whatever that might be, in a way that actually makes the worker better and doesn't necessarily confuse them or overload them.
Fantastic. Another question from Chad, who had the Polycom related question. He says, is there a cost per device?
So I'm going to assume, Chad, that you mean a cost per device to use your Polycom systems with BlueJeans, and the answer is there is no cost. So our meetings platform natively supports standards-based room systems, and we don't charge any extra for a room connector or specific ports for room systems to be used. If you have a BlueJeans license, that license comes with a number of capabilities that you can take advantage of. One of which is having room systems dial in. So no matter how you want to leverage BlueJeans or how many rooms that you have, the BlueJeans meetings licenses include the ability to dial in from conference rooms at no additional cost.
And he said, yes, that is my question.
All right. Okay, good.
Great.
Thought I was on the right track there.
Perfect. Well, I don't see any other questions coming in, but I'm sure that a few might pop up in just a few minutes here. So while we wait for some more questions to be posted, if there are any, I just wanted to remind everybody again that this webinar will be recorded and emailed to you after this event, as well as posted to our resources center on the website. So you can always refer back to it, which is great. And we're actually hosting these webinars on a monthly cadence, so make sure to register for future events that come up through the emails that we send out to you guys, or if you're ever curious to see what events we have coming up, you can actually go to our website, click on resources, and then go to the events and webinars tab, and you can see all the upcoming webinars and events that we're going to. So just make sure you know where to go. Let's see. Any other questions coming through? Again, please feel free to post them in the chat. And if not, then we'll make sure to reach out to you after the event with the answers of any that come through later. So
yeah, if for existing BlueJeans customers, if you have any questions or want to know more, reach out to your account manager that works with you, or anybody that is interested in taking a closer look at BlueJeans. You can easily sign up for a trial on our website, or we can follow up with you afterwards. But want to make sure that we give you an opportunity to experience what BlueJeans is, and specific to what we were talking about today, how it can actually enhance your productivity and play well into the modern workplace.
Absolutely. Right, Joe. Well, it looks like no more questions coming through. So thank you so much again for presenting in today's webinar. It's a pleasure as usual.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for everyone for joining on BlueJeans as well. And we look forward to speaking with you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.